Assalamu alaikum. Hi, Oracle Reiki spiritual healer. And I just woke up to a beautiful night. I love rains. Replenishes, and you'll hear me say that all the time when it rains, because I'll get my tea and I'll start looking at the birds and everything. The bird got a worm in its mouth, and when it rains, it just replenishes the earth, and I just love it. So today we're going to talk about when God peels back layers on a chosen one. So I came out here on this mission to, you know, um, make sure that my business thrives. God sent me on this mission to move me away from negative people and to have this as an outlet to go into people's lives and do life coaching, do spiritual healing in their lives. It is a refreshing and uplifting business that I do. So I've learned that when you remove yourself out of people's lives, when God removes you out of a situation, this is one of those learning curves that I had to learn, that he's peeling back layers on you. He's exposing you to something, and he's exposing people to you. So there are people that have been in my life that I had the utmost respect for. That there is nothing that they would call on me and I would not be there for them. But what I'm learning is that now that God has removed me out of the situation, that they are exposing who they really were in my life. And God has removed them from my life because they exposed themselves. Now, they were trying to put on the mask and say, no, it wasn't me. I wouldn't do that and all of that, while I was standing there looking at them. But when I was removed from the situation and I came on this mission, then they absolutely showed that they would take advantage of a situation. And like I said, I always knew that it was them. I wasn't surprised, because God had already revealed, these individuals to me, what they would do. And I was just more or less disappointed. I was disappointed because, like I said, this person, had been in my life. And there's nothing that I wouldn't do for this person. And in my mind, I have showed that I don't reward bad behavior. I don't reward bad behavior. I have showed the example with many people in my life, and I'm not reliant upon you. And that's another thing. When people feel like that they have the chosen ones in a position where they're the only person that you can rely on, that you have nobody else, then they start to react who they really are. They start to act out, in real time who they really are. They start to show you that they're arrogant, they're prideful, and they've been in competition with you the whole time. The only thing that I can really say is Allahu Akbar for being put in a position where I can see. And like I say, I wasn't blind. It's just that, when you want to keep and hold on to, long-term, friendships and things like that. But when God say that it's over, it's over. I'm not the person you go back and be old. I and in saying that, we have to really make ourselves understand that, God is doing this for a purpose. God is exposing people in your life. And I've had a couple of people just fall off in my life and expose themselves for, being users, abusers, um and opportunists. We're not going to leave that out. And so these are the Decepticons that is usually in a chosen one's life, that they have just been laying low until they get that right opportunity. Yeah, I got you now. I've been trying to get you down. I've been trying to, get people not to, get people to reject you. I finally got. And when they do that, and like I say, I've been gone for a couple of months now, and it's ridiculous that I keep having these people just fall, into the gutter. And that's the only way that I can explain it. And I'm I'm ecstatic because, I God always gives you a way out. And when you start seeing the Decepticons, when they're at the end of their road, and you start seeing the Decepticon come out of your life, out of the shadows, out of the darkness, with the aha, I got you now. I've been waiting to get you in a compromising position. And I've had a lot of people say that to me, with their behavior in my life. And I just look at them. And I keep it moving. And I'm going to get away from you because, my whole thing is the potty mouth. And I'm about to go somewhere if I stay around you, and we're not going back into that behavior. But they'll try to, digging you to get that behavior out of you. And out of respect, if I love you, the love isn't going to change. Your behavior is just going to make me get away from you and cut all ties and stop talking to you. That's what's going to happen. So I've had to make this example, just because I love you, just because, we have a past. That doesn't mean that, I'm just attached to you hook, line, and sinker. What I ask myself all the time, what do these people think that they have that I like? And the truth of the matter, and I have to be very honest with myself. Like I say, I invite people into my life because I seen that, they were on a level that, well, if they just correct this one thing, they probably be a good match to do this, so we can work on this together. But when God has exposed that we can't do anything together, 2 and 3 and 4 times because of your behavior, because of you're in competition, because you're trying to sabotage, then you got to go to your corner. You got to go to wherever God sent you from. You got to go back to your life. You can't be, a sometime in person and think that you're not seen. You can only do that with people who you really have trapped that you can abuse like that. That's what narcissists look for. People that they can trap, that they can abuse, and they can't do anything about it. They just have to take that kind of abuse. And when you can't get out of that kind of line of fire, then you become weakened over time to that person's attacks. But when you are a chosen one and you just say, well, I'm going to go off into the woods and I'm going to go over here into another part of my life that you have no idea about. This part over here is between me and God. the part that I let you saw, and you seen it in my life. You see me, cultivating in my life. That part is not for you, to try to get into. That's for me to appoint you where I want you at. See, over here on the left hand side, there are people that I have appointed to be in my life. And you just so happen to be one of those people. And that means that I know that you're not, a real person. I know that you're not a friend. And I know that, you don't have my best interests at heart. Appointed. I've appointed you. God has not appointed you with me. And most of the people that I have been with and worked on projects with, God has not appointed them in my life, and they had no idea, I did that. And we have to be very careful as chosen ones about appointing people that we just care about, that we've been had a history for a very long time, and we've been friends or family members for, and we have to be careful about appointing people without God's permission. So, these are some of the old things that's in my life, the layers that's falling away and peeling away. And all of those old things, if it doesn't mean you any, well chosen ones, they will fall away. They will, lose its luster, and nah, it got to go. So, and I've talked about getting out with the old, in with the new. And we have to be very careful. We have to be very careful about allowing people to think that they can become more than they are in our lives, because they will try to get close to chosen ones and suck the energy out of them, and try to make themselves, put themselves in a position where the chosen one can't live without them. So it's a lot like, the two chosen ones, Abraham and Lot. Until they were separated, then they couldn't grow. They couldn't grow in their gifts. So in my case, it's more or less like a chosen one with a demonic attachment from a person, a Decepticon that they thought they was hiding in my life. And it wasn't the case, but you have to give a person, a chance to see what they will do. And I believe that most people are good until they show me otherwise. When they show me otherwise, then I have a fail-safe. The fail-safe is, I'm going to just go on over here before I turn into, and before I go in dark mode with you. And we don't want that. And we want to just let me go. Just let me go on that way, or whatever way I'm going. Let me go before I lose my respect, and I do some of the things and mirror back some of the things that you were doing to sabotage in my life. So, let me go ahead and do what I need to do. And the other day, I knew that something was off. I knew that something was coming. I was praying to God, and it seemed like soon as Ramadan ended, I was praying to God that something is wrong. There's I don't know what it is, because I keep getting this silent, deafening sound whenever I talk to this person, and I had appointed them, to a position in my life. Appointed means you're not permanent. But nevertheless, I was sitting here, and I was sitting in the car, I was praying, and a spider dropped down on my clothes. So I picked him up, and I got him off of me because, I like insects, but I don't like them on me. But I'm a southern girl. So I picked him up and I put him on outside where he's supposed to be at. I didn't kill him. And I knew something was going wrong. I knew something was wrong. I knew something was off. And I just didn't even understand that it was somebody close to me in my life. I didn't understand that. I wanted it, if it had been, a neighbor, if it had been somebody else, I could have taken it. I could have understood it. I would have, it wouldn't be so distasteful in my mouth. But, when God starts pulling back those layers again off of you and exposing you and saying, you know this to be what it is. And you can't turn the light off. You can't take the glasses off. You can't turn back the person from what they want to do. Because in reality, the whole time that they were sabotaging, stealing the energy, they wanted your life. They wanted to be able to do what you do. And instead of asking you, then they felt like that, since they were allowed to all their life to take what they wanted, to have a tantrum and get what they wanted, then they were going to pull that with you forever. And I just ignored that kind of stuff. I just ignore it. Because I'm going over here. I'm going over here anyway. But I don't have to, let anybody know. I didn't let anybody know that I'm going over here. And that was a major issue. And the person actually came and said to me, well, why you didn't come and, let me know this here? I had a couple of people that just, why would I need to come and let you know what I'm doing when I know that you're the one that's sabotaging it? I have appointed you. I appointed you. God didn't appoint you. And that's why I made a video, a week ago, a couple of weeks ago, about people calling me their friend. God did not appoint you as my friend. God did not send you into my life. I chose and appointed you. And that's the difference. And the chosen ones need to know that. They need to know that. Please believe it. Understanding that you have a person in your life around you that you have love for, but they don't carry the same love that they have for you, is absolutely manipulation. It's absolutely hatred. And they'll let you know by the look on their face. You'll catch them looking at you with a very nasty look, and they will identify themselves with that. And they will let you know that they're in competition. Their agenda is to sabotage you or to hurt you. So I wanted to let you know, please be careful about some of the people that's around you. Separate yourself. I've separated myself on this mission, and God has exposed more than one person on this mission, that was around me, that wasn't supposed to be around me, why he moved me, and what his plan is, his plan and his will is for me. I'm High Oracle, Reiki spiritual healer. Assalamu alaikum.